So. I'm So, and this will be a continuation of FIC 1-800 Gotham by Goldfish in a Bag. Tim has been in a pretty good mood these past few weeks. Firstly, he no longer has to go into his office at Drake Industries. Secondly, he found a new cafe that is willing to add unlimited shots of espresso as long as he is a paying customer. And thirdly, the bats have finally made contact with Angel. When Tim received the call from Nightwing, never would he have expected to speak to so many other members of the bats. Talking to Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon those 2 times in the beginning is plenty enough for him already. Not to mention Tim is still living off the energy from meeting Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batman in person. But to speak with the newest Robin as well is shocking. He knows Damian Wayne's personality, so it came as a surprise that he was willing to talk to a complete stranger that would potentially be an enemy so peacefully. With this, Tim only needs to speak to 3 more of the bats, Alfred Pennyworth, Cassandra Cain, and Stephanie Brown, before he crossed off Bat Bingo. They really need to stop surprising him with cold calls though. It is not good for his heart. Tim is so embarrassed that the first time they call Angel for a favor, his brain actually shut down and was functioning solely on Angel's professional operator autodrive. He only snapped back to himself after realizing he was accidentally being a bit harsh on the GCPD and promptly apologized. He even gave the bats a free question as an apology. To be fair, it's a miracle that Tim didn't pass out then and there when Nightwing spoke to him for a 3rd time. Luckily, they seemed to have forgiven him and didn't seem all too affected by his opinion on the GCPD, which is a relief. It's not his fault the police department keeps trying to shoot at him when he's trying to collect information or take photos of the bats. They shoot at everything that moves, which Tim thinks is probably the closest they've ever gotten to not being discriminatory. He does send over the Scarecrow reports for Batman as soon as he can though. While Tim doesn't know how the rogue managed to escape undetected, he doesn't want Batman to think Angel is unskilled or lacking ability. So he throws some things he noticed recently about the asylum that could be useful information. He noticed that there's been a strange shift in Gotham. There's a lot of big-name rogues and villains all of a sudden are quiet aside. And Tim suspects that there must be one main leader to this change. They're planning something, and Tim is going to figure out what. Which is made easier now that he's working directly with the bats. The request on behalf of Commissioner Gordon is easy enough to do as well, since Tim doesn't think he does anything special when making a citywide announcement. He's not sure why people listen to Angel so intently, but he supposes it's the few years of experience under his belt. After that initial call with the bats, they have been contacting him a lot more frequently, both as Angel and Jackson. Thanks to his quick thinking to include that persona as much as he possibly could, if Angel shows that he relies so heavily on Jackson, and further hammers then the fact that Jackson is their only direct link to Angel, then the bats may finally trust him enough to join them in the Batcave, as Oracle said during their first official meeting. So far, it's been mostly calls and text messages through Jackson's phone. They'll text a question to Jackson, and either Tim will answer Jackson if it's not extremely complicated one, or transfer it to Angel, to which he'll call Oracle through the hotline. It does get a little annoying to have to use one phone, Jackson burner, for both personas. but Tim thinks it's better to carry less evidence of these devices. He might get confused in a special terrible insomnia episode and accidentally answer Angel's phone as Jackson, or vice versa. And while he could have a reasonable explanation for this switch, Tim doesn't want to go all through that trouble. Plus, this just makes the bats have to rely more on Jackson, which boosts his reputation to get to Tim's end goal of being in the Batcave. He's gotten pretty close too. While he hasn't been able to get into the Batcave just yet, he has been invited out on numerous occasions to meet with some of the bats in person to help them solve some cases. Tim has been in many safe houses and secret hideout places, which he is very eager to find out where, since they usually blind the windows when driving him to the locations. He usually tries to direct those sort of case-related questions to Angel, since Jackson isn't meant to have that skill set. But Tim can help himself sometimes, and goes along with it just to be able to hang out with the bats. And it really is hanging out at times. Tim thought he was just being an overzealous fanboy, but even he has to admit that the atmosphere is far too calm and fun when he's around. It usually goes along the lines of something like this. "Hey Jax, we got a new case and we could really use your perspective on this one." One of the bats will call him saying, "Usual Nightwing," to which Tim would end up agreeing to meet them in person since it works better for all of them. Waits to be picked up somewhere outside away from Buster, and then quickly turns into casual chatter that has nothing to do with the case. They even play detective and mystery solving games with him, which he was pretty happy and about since finally he had some actual difficult material for his brain to chew on. Tim has also started to throw some of his photos into his backpack after the first time they discovered they diverged the conversation to his pictures of Batman and Robin. He also may or may not just want to show them off. Over the course of several weeks, Tim has met up with Nightwing, Red Hood, Robin, Oracle, and even Batman on rare occasions. Of course, each vigilante varies in meetup times. Nightwing and Oracle are most common, which Tim assumes because Dick Grayson is currently on vacation or something from Bloodhaven, and spending time with family in Gotham. And Barbara Gordon is on computer screen, making it a little easier to keep meeting Tim. It works wonderfully for him though, since not only does he get to talk to Nightwing and Oracle, but they even teach him things as well. He summoned Good Nightwing to start teaching him some acrobatics, and it's honestly such a dream for him that Dick Grayson is teaching him. Plus, it'll be even better for him to run around Gotham if he's more trained. Oracle teaches him about computers and technology, showing him new ways to write code more efficiently and how to maximize output while minimizing input when building gadgets. Barbara's condor intellect is seriously no joke. Tim finds himself having to slip into his actual self as Tim in order to keep up with her. Jackson is made to be intentionally energetic and a bit childish, but that won't fly when Barbara Gordon is teaching Tim something. He's okay with being Tim around her too, considering she seems to be the only bat on his side right now, since he's positive she can figure out the Angel Jackson situation much faster, considering she's spoken to both of them. Tim's a good actor, but he does it's good enough to trick all the bats. While he doesn't meet up with Red Hood and Robin as often as the previous two, they have enough interaction to which Tim can pick out what type of personality he should morph into when speaking to them. Red Hood seems to be more comfortable when Tim is easy to joke around with and when he taps into the troublemaker subset of his personality. That makes sense, Red Hood is much more loose and casual in comparison to a good portion of his family, usually preferring improper speech and body language. It's not too difficult for him to get along with Hood. Robin, on the other hand, is a bit trickier. In the beginning, he was standoffish, not making an attempt to communicate or get to know Tim. He would stare down Tim in silence like a panther assessing their prey. Decidedly, Tim was not a big fan of that feeling. However, he didn't want to antagonize Robin, so he just stayed relatively the same as Jackson. Tim couldn't make any sudden changes before fully understanding growing needs. Someone like Damon Wayne needs to make the first step. Otherwise, he will feel intimidated and his space intruded on. That seems like it worked well enough, because after some time, around the third or fourth week, Robin began starting conversation with Tim instead of remarking offhandedly during a larger conversation. Then it was only a matter of analyzing the boy for Tim to get a grasp on what works best for him. Damon Wayne is kind of like an annoying little brother, if Tim had to describe him. He never had sibling before, but if he did, Damon Wayne is what he would imagine having a younger brother would be like. Annoying, bothersome at times, and easy to bully, but also someone that he would not hesitate to care for and protect. Not like he needs Tim help, but Tim thinks it's the thought that counts. So working together with the four and figuring out the best way to talk to them wasn't super difficult. A little hard to balance out with the Jackson persona, but overall Tim could manage it. Batman is much harder to find a perfect personality for. Not because the personality itself is difficult to adapt to, no. Actually, talking to Batman mostly has them become an angel half the time, which is the problem. He can't act like Angel around Batman when he's masquerading as Jackson. That would make the whole secret identity thing futile and a waste if Tim is both Angel and Jackson at the same time. Tim tries to find another way to act around the Bat, trying to see if any of the versions with the other Bats would work with him, but to no avail. Tim as himself, mixed with Jackson for Oracle, seems to work for a bit up until Batman starts asking more and more complicated questions that are definitely above Jackson's skill set and intelligence. Tim can't disappoint him either by pretending not to know the answer, so he just ends up becoming a weird amalgamation of Tim Angel for most of their conversations. Luckily for him, Batman doesn't come out to meet him as often, meaning he only does this weird angel act sparingly around him in person. Tim can probably count the amount of times he met up and spoken for more than 10 minutes with him on one hand. Hopefully, Tim can find something else that works with Batman soon. For now, he'll just try and avoid speaking one-on-one with him. Creating Jackson has truly been one of the greatest decisions of his career. He gets to meet his heroes, banter with them, and even gets post-discussion treats after an in-person meetup. If he was just plain old Tim Drake, this wouldn't have even been in the realm of possibilities for him. Maybe for Angel, but Jackson seemed to click a little better with them all. Perhaps it's because Tim plays up the childlike wonder aspect of his fanboying. He finally accepted and embraced the persona thoroughly. He can help it. Acting a role is just too much fun, especially where he's so good at it. Not to mention, he has Dick Grayson's number on his phone. Safe to say, Tim is having the time of his life. These past 7 weeks have been some of the best moments in his entire life. He genuinely feels happy. His good mood allows him to sleep a full 7 hours of normal sleep a night. With his newfound power that he hasn't seen since the Dark Ages, Tim manages to spend an entire day operating hotline. He must have broken his record of most people up in a day. While he's feeling rather proud of himself and taking a bite out of fresh donut he brought from the new cafe as a treat, another caller interrupts his snacky session. Tim quickly finishes chewing and wipes his hands off a napkin, then reaches for his mouse to answer the call, before noticing that it's Oracle number, or at least he presumes. He only ever talked to Oracle or Nightwing through it. Tim clears his throat, adjusting his microphone and double-checking his voice modifier before he finally picks up. Oracle, it's good seeing you. Is there an emergency? He asks, attempting to hide the surprise from his voice. They hardly ever call the hotline before calling Jackson. Angel, is Jax with you right now? Oracle questions, sounding a little on edge. Tim stares at his reflection on one of his many monitors and has to hold back a snort. Define with you, he wants to say. Why do you ask? Tim responds with instead. Boring angel. Taxpayer, homeowner, boring, adult angel. He likes being the operator, but Tim's not as much of a fan of the over-professionalism he has to put on when speaking to the bats. It must be done though, otherwise then they won't think he's responsible or an actual adult. 17 is close to 18, right? Tim feels like he's been in his 30s for ages now. We've been trying to reach him for a while now, but he won't pick up. Oracle starts with growing urgency. What? He spins around in his chair, looking over to Jackson's phone charging next to his bed. He even puts the emergency bypass on Oracle bat number. So how is it possible that he never heard the phone ring or vibrate? Tim's eyes widen as he sees the phone resting innocently at the desk and very much not attached to a charging cable. His good mood promptly goes off for no drive. Oh shit. He must have forgotten to plug it in. How did he manage to forget something so simple? How long have they been trying to contact him? Shit, if it was important, then I'm screwed. Tim can lose their trust now. He works so hard. Jackson is fine. He just forgot to charge his phone. Tim squeezes the bridge of his nose with his thumb and index finger. He's holding back a disappointed sigh. I apologize on his behalf for his disorganization and forgetfulness. I will reprimand him later for being so careless. How could I have been so irresponsible? Tim scolds himself immediately. I even told him Jackson couldn't be unreachable. This is literally my job. I am failing at my job. He drops his head onto the desk with a hard thunk. There's an awkward silence that Tim can't quite understand, but it vanishes as swift as it came. No need for that, Angel, Oracle says, her tone a little off. We were just worried about him. Is everything alright? He's fine, he states dismissively. Tim is not fine. He wants to lay on the floor and stare blankly at his ceiling for an hour or two. Maybe become one with the wooden floorboards, speak to the trees and all that. What did you need to talk to him about? Actually, could we talk to him instead? She asks. He raised an eyebrow. Is there something Jackson can do that Angel can't? Tim can't seem to be able to recall anything specific. He shrugs. If that's what she wants. Let me go get him. Tim uses his microphone and dashes over to grab Jackson's phone, immediately plugging it into a charger connecting to his computer for a faster charge. He shakes his head and slaps his cheeks later to get him prepared to lie his ass off for whatever Oracle tries to interrogate him with. He coughs, making sure to return to his natural speaker octave instead of the lower, angel one. Alley accent, alley accent, alley accent, he reminds himself. He turns off the voice changer and unmutes his mic. Hey Al, what's going on? He says, attempting a relaxed tone and using an Oracle nickname which she allows him to use as if Tim is close to her. Tim cringes. Not only does that sound too heavy of an accent, but he just realized how weird it feels to speak to Oracle through Angel's setup and headset with his Jackson persona. It's like mixing two things that should not be mixed together, bleach and ammonia, hydrogen peroxide and vinegar. Angel and Jackson. It's taboo and downright wrong. He tries to shake off the goosebumps. Hey Jax, is everything okay? She asks, a worried tone seeping into her voice. Her voice softens. Yep, all good. I'm sorry I didn't pick up, Tim responds, still deeply embarrassed at his careless mistake. It's absolutely not a problem, Jax. Oracle assures quickly. We're just relieved to hear that you are fine. He can't help but smile. It's nice to know that he's gotten so much closer to the bats. His goal is not so far away. Aw, it's nice of you. Is there something you need from me? Tim glances at the phone. It's finally turned on. He snatches the device off from his desk and frantically types in the passcode. His heart stops when he sees the notification on the screen. 15 unread messages, 4 missed calls, and 3 voicemails. Tim feels his face drain of blood. He fucked up. This must have been something like a Bane-level type of emergency. He flicks through them, reading the contacts. 2 missed calls, each from Oracle and Nightwing. Tim quickly notes with his eyes. 2 voicemails from her, 1 from him, 5 messages from O, 6 from N. He reads the last missed notification. His stomach drops. 4 missed messages from Batman. Scratch that. This must be a Joker-level emergency if the Bat himself is texting Tim. He never contacted him once since they started working together, only speaking through Oracle or Nightwing on occasions. Up until now, Tim hasn't been entirely sure if Batman could use modern technology like a cell phone. It just seems so wrong to imagine Batman texting someone. Sure, Bruce Wayne does it plenty, but that's Bruce Wayne. Batman is a whole different story here. Tim flips the burner phone over, screen side down, and spins in a circle with his fingers. He will deal with the consequences of not charging his phone after this call with Barbara Gordon. He is also terrified to see what he missed. Well, we wanted you to help us decode this message we received from the Riddler, Oracle answers. It came in not too long ago, and we were stuck. Thought we could use a fresh eye on it. Right, the Riddler's message. Tim recalls hearing something about that over the phone radios, but he hasn't been able to find out what the message was since after it was sent to the GCPD, Commissioner Gordon immediately handed it over to the bands. Tim relaxes, relieved that it's not a Joker-level emergency. Edward's enigmas riddles are more fun than serious. Tim even likes to search past written messages to solve them during his free time. It's a good brain exercise. Why did Batman and everyone else try to reach him for something as easy as Riddler's riddles? Tim has been under the impression that for Batman to directly reach out to him, it would have to be the end of the world or an apocalypse of some sort. I'm really sorry, Oracle. It's my fault for being so careless and not charging my phone. Do you still need my help? He asked, sad that he most likely missed the code breaking. It's fine, Jax. It's not your fault no matter how much Angel tries to convince it is. Everyone makes mistakes. Tim feels a shiver down his spine at Oracle called down. Angel didn't do anything wrong. It's entirely Jackson's fault. Why is his cool guy operator identity under attack? We managed to crack it this time with Spoiler's help, but it would be great to have you on the team as well. She replies, voice switching to a kind and soft tone. I don't think this will be the last we hear from the Riddler. Tim brightens up. They want me on this seafaring team? Of course he has to take this opportunity. When else is going to be able to say I was on the official code-breaking team with bats? I would love to help, he agrees without hesitation. It also means he'll be working with Spoiler, aka Stephanie Brown, who in Tim's humble opinion is absolutely kick-ass and awesome. She's Crewmaster's daughter who stood up against him on her own, taking responsibility for her father's action into her own hands despite not having to. Tim respects her greatly for it. He may have also had a tiny crush on her when he was younger. He definitely wants her autograph someday. Maybe even become friends with her. He thinks it could happen. Maybe. Great. We'll ask like Angel on team, but we are aware that he's a busy man. Oh, that's right. Angel exists too. Yeah, he's very busy. Tim agrees. It would be significantly harder if I had to be both Angel and Jackson at the same time, he thinks, nodding to himself. Better to leave it to Jackson this time. Tim does think it's a bit peculiar that they would ask Jackson for his help first though, since Tim has clearly separated skills and personalities between the two roles. Angel is the one who's good at things like that, not Jackson. Maybe they want to do it in person, Tim thinks, which makes sense. It's always going to be easy to work with someone when they're right in front of you instead of over the phone. We'll contact you if there's anything new. I'll send you a PDF copy of the riddle to you so you guys can see if we miss something, she says. Tim can hear her typing, probably preparing it to send. Sounds good. Is there anything else? Is Angel available to speak right now? She asks. I have something to ask of him as well. He's as available as he'll ever be, Tim jokes. Yeah, he is, he says alternatively. Let me hand the headset back to him. Tim feels like he's playing hot potato with himself using the headset. Passing it back and forth between his two characters, he switches on the voice changer, then clears his throat to lower his voice back to Angel's. This is Angel, he states. Jackson said you need to speak to me as well. He shakes his head. It is so weird to do this on spot. Oracle tonal shift is almost jarring, compared to the way she spoke to Jackson. Yes, to put it simply, we want to invite Jax to Batcave, she says bluntly. I'm sure you heard us talk, but it would be beneficial for us to have his hands on deck for this. Tim blinks. Wow. Seems like he'll be accomplishing his bucket list goal very soon now. Focus, Tim. You're Angel now, he reminds himself. I presume it's due to shift in the Gotham's criminal world, he says, impressively smoothing out his voice. Argo sounds shocked. How did you know? she asked suspiciously, as if Tim somehow read her mind or hacked her system, which, yes, he had done before, but only to look around. Like sightseeing, almost. That's pretty easy, Tim says to himself. The Riddler hasn't sent out a message in a long time. Judging by the urgency of not only the Commissioner, but you all as well, it must be a serious case, he explains. I also picked up on some odd changes in the city recently that led me to believe that there is something going on, and it all begins at Arkham, where the Riddler is currently held. Two-Face and Scarecrow have also been acting strange. Something is clearly happening, and everyone who can help should get involved. Otherwise, there is no need for Jackson to help you with this, since codebreaking isn't his specialty. I see, she says slowly, impressed. Oracle clears her throat. I told Jax this, but we were originally going to request for your help as well, for deciphering riddles and sort. I thought you might be too busy for that, with the hotline and your job. Tim hums, signaling her to go on. But I would like to offer it anyway. Any thoughts? Does Tim really want to work double time? It's the only thing to work with the bats at Jackson, and another thing to have to balance both of his identities while he's actively working with them in person. How is he supposed to answer as the Angel if they call him while Jackson is there? He can't just vanish. That would only work if Tim's not stuck in a room full of hyper-vigilant and over-attentive vigilantes. I apologize, but there's simply too much on my plate to do so, Tim says, trying to sound casual. It's a bit of a loss, but at least one of his identities is growing closer to the bats. Plus, Tim knows he's going to get found eventually. So it's not too terrible. But I would be happy to help on occasion if you're stuck of anything. Just let Jackson send it over and I will respond as soon as possible. That's unfortunate to hear, but I understand. We'll accept that. Although we have really liked you on the team with your son. Tim blinks. Sorry, did she just say son? Whose son? Oracle continues. Do we have your parental permission to take Jax to the Batcave? It must be hard to leave him out of his sight, considering it seems like you two are always together. His mind blanks. What? Tim doesn't know what to say. They think Jackson is Angel's son. They think I am my own son. It sounds so ridiculous that he nearly laughs out loud. There are actual tears in his eyes. Is the second coming of Jesus Christ, Son of God, God Himself, and all that? Tim assumes that the first thing they should have thought of is that they're twin brothers or something, or Angel is just being a few years older. How did they land on son? Jackson is 17. 17! How old do you think Angel is for a 17-year-old to be his son? He is not my son, he corrects honestly, holding back a chuckle and wiping a stray tear from his eye. But yes, you have my permission. Take good care of him for me. It feels wrong to leave it be. This is one hell of a misunderstanding, and one he didn't actually plan on happening. He is trying to throw them off, but Tim thought that they would have figured out that Angel and Jackson are the same person by now. Surely he's not that good at acting, to the point the Bats, a family of trained professional detectives, can't tell. Oracle makes a sound of surprise. He's not. I was under the impression he was your son. He talked about you as if you hung the moon and stars, so I just assumed. Just his luck. Tim endless phrase that had meant to help his angel identity backfired on him. Of course it does. He's not my son, Tim says firmly, and he never had been. We're equals. We're the same person, equivalent, same freaking guy. Please figure it out already, he pleads. You can be both, his father and equals, you know? Oracle responds, her voice sounding sad. Batman and Robin have that exact relationship. We aren't Batman and Robin, are we? But you're Angel and Jax. Equals. She sucks in a sharp breath, muttering something, then slowly speaks. I don't want to hurt Jax by revealing this, but I don't think anything will change if I don't say something. I don't think you even know about this. What? Tim is genuinely confused. He doesn't remember telling Oracle about anything as secretive as Jackson. It's not impossible for Tim to not know about something regarding his two identities. He's the one who made them up. He sees you as his father, Angel. Hello? What? Who sees us? Who as his father? You raised him, did you not? Oracle speaks with so much reassuring truth in his voice that Tim almost believes her. Even if you aren't biologically related to Jax, at the end of the day, you're his dad. That boy is your son. He loves you so much, don't you see? He idolizes you. His eyes are practically dripping with adoration whenever he speaks about you, like you painted the sun and sky. Jack says we're his heroes, but I think that he truly means that you're his hero, Angel. She pauses and takes a deep breath in. I know it's not exactly easy to become a father when you didn't mean to. It just happens. I get it, Angel. I really do. I'm close with people who end up in your exact position. I myself have been in that position, she says carefully. But you cannot treat that poor boy who loves you so much like that anymore. Like he's not important to you. I know he is. And Batman may think differently, but I know you love Jax. You don't show it. Why? What is stopping you? Despite what you might think and what might have happened to you and him, he is your son, no matter what. Oh God. She literally doesn't get it. She really doesn't get it. Oracle truly thinks that Angel is some sort of father figure to Jackson. What on earth has Tim said to misconstrue that badly? He needs to set this right. It's not entertaining if they are making up their own red herrings and getting lost by it themselves. Oracle, I'm going to tell you something that no one else knows, alright? She freezes through the phone. You can trust me, Angel. When I said Jackson is my son, I wasn't lying. But we raised each other, he interrupts. We grew up together, Oracle. Tim tries to push the truth as hard as he can without bluntly saying so. I protected him, sure, but he protected me just as much. He's my equal. I care about Jackson as much as he cares about me. He's my reflection, one that is cheerful, energetic, and full of life. At least that's how he presents as Jackson. Tim puts all his bad family worship and chaotic energy into that character after all. I'm on the other side. The analytical one, the logician, the one that makes the big decisions. Together, we're all unequal. Do you understand, Oracle? Tim really couldn't have given more hints than that. He isn't being subtle at all. a bit. "You're not his dad," she says finally, coming to a realization. He grins. "I'm not." "You're equals," Oracle reiterates. "We are." "One may even say we're equal to each other," Tim jokes. "Perhaps part of the same equation to the same solution." "He protects you too?" "Always. Because it's me." "And you protect him?" "Obviously. How could I not?" Oracle pauses once more. "I understand. Thank you for trusting me with this angel." "Finally, she gets it," Tim cheers. Wait, he pauses, thinking, will she reveal the truth to everyone? It's no fun if the rest of the bats find out just because Oracle spits the beans for them, though. They should have only to do some detective work as well to get to the truth, exactly like Tim did for their real identities. Or be wildly wrong in their theory to the point Tim has to practically spell out to them, like Oracle. But that's not even in the realm of possibilities for him. Oracle isn't out there here. It's probably because he's spoken to her the most as both Angel and Jackson, which confused her. A pure misunderstanding. "I choose you to keep it a secret," he replies, although it's more of a question than a statement. "Please don't ruin the fun just yet." "Of course, I wouldn't want anything to happen to Jax." Tim smiles. She definitely understands now, especially since she brought up Jackson. If Oracle reveals the truth to Batman and everyone else, then Jackson will cease to exist. She must want it on the brain too. This is a wonderful turn of events. Now that Oracle is on his side, he can continue to run circles around the bats until they all figure out eventually that Tim is both Angel and Jackson. Then he can work as himself with them. Or he can flee the country if they really mad at him for tricking them. Either works for him. Tim has more fun in these few weeks than in the past decade of his life. So it wouldn't be a terrible end to the life as Tim Drake. He shrugs. "Alvin Draper, here I come," he thinks, reflecting the fake passport established away in duffel bag underneath his back. Worst case scenario, he dies as Timothy Drake and escapes as Alvin. Obviously that identity is burned as well, but Alvin has been active in Europe for so long now that he's almost a real person on paper. It would be very difficult for the bats to find him for their potential revenge if Mr. Draper has already existed for years before any of this happened. "Thank you for your time, Angel," Oracle continues, a smile in her voice. "Let Jax know I thank him too. I look forward to working further with you both." "Thank you as well, Oracle. We'll speak again soon." And the call finally ends. Tim feels like years have already shaven off his lifespan, but he also feels rather relieved. It's kind of nice to have someone know about the truth now. He can relax around Oracle. Tim looking forward to the next time he meets her. Maybe she'll trust him enough to see him in person now. Tim calls it a day of being Angel with just the hotline and stands up to stretch. He nearly knocks over the still charging phone sitting on his desk. Eggs. Tim almost forgot about the whole fiasco. He sighs. Right, still have to read through everything. He sits back down, listening to the voicemail first. They aren't particularly noteworthy or have any delicate details in them. Just a few seconds of Oracle and Nightwing asking where Jackson is and if everything's alright. He saved them with haste. He will never get rid of this phone, even if he has a gun held to his head. Tim makes a mental note to download them onto his laptop as soon as he's finished catching up on whatever he missed. He read through the messages next. Oracle's is first. Oracle. Hey Jax, we got a note from the riddler just now. Do you have any time to help us solve it? Oracle. Jax, are you there? Is everything okay? One missed call from Oracle. Oracle. Did something happen? I can't reach you. Oracle. Are you okay? 2 missed calls from Oracle. Oracle. I'm calling Angel. Tim feels terrible about how worried she sounds over his mistake. He will never forget to plug his charger for as long as he lives. He swipes through them, then clicks on the next missed message contact. It's Nightwing's. Nightwing. Hi, little Jay. Do you want us help with a riddle? He can't help but smile at the message. Tim couldn't have guessed that Dick Grayson types like that, but it's sweet and surprisingly fitting. The nicknames only make Tim beam brighter. It makes him feel special, like it's exclusively for him. It gives Tim the illusion that Nightwing might care about him beyond just Angel's informant. Nightwing was a little awkward after Tim met up with him in real life, as if he lost in his brain and seriously thinking about something, but the vigilante seemed to have resolved the issue by himself. The nickname Little J came after that. Although, as sweet as it is, he gets occasionally uncomfortable by it. For no real reason, it's just a weird hunch. Tim doesn't know why he thinks this or what has him convinced, but sometimes he feels like Nightwing is seeing someone else through him. It's completely unprompted and there's no evidence to support it, but Tim can't shake the feeling that he's being looked through instead of looked at. He's never mentioned it to the vigilante, since Tim could be completely wrong and his scents are just going haywire. But it's in the back of his mind every time he interacts with Nightwing. Nightwing. Oh, says she can reach you. Is everything alright? 1 missed call from Nightwing. Nightwing. Jax, pick up. Nightwing. Did something happen? Are you okay? 2 missed call from Nightwing. Nightwing. Jax, pick up. Nightwing. Jay, where are you? Tim frowns. The concern shows so honestly through Nightwing's messages and his heart breaks a little. Tim is disappointed in himself. He simply cannot upset Dick Grayson ever again. Finally, the final 4 messages, Batman's, Tim braces himself, unsure what to even expect. Batman. Jackson. Report. The first message is innocent enough, just commanding a status report. Not unusual, although strange that Batman messages Tim just for that, when both Oracle and Nightwing have already tried to check in with him. The last 3 messages are what truly puzzles Tim. They're the last missed notification on his phone, but it doesn't make any sense to him. He checked multiple times if he accidentally missaved Batman's number, but it's been correct every time he's looked. Batman. Tell me if you need anything. I'll come get you, no matter where you are. Batman. Anytime, anywhere. Batman. I can protect you, I promise. What does that even mean? What is there to protect him from? Tim is rummaging in his thoughts, trying to understand what the absolute fuck Batman is trying to say, when another notification pops up on his phone. Oracle. Hey Jax, I'm glad everything ended up to be okay. Here's the PDF of the riddler's new code and our deciphering work. Let us know if you spot anything new. She worked faster than the devil. Tim thinks, opening the file. It's not too long, just 4 cryptic lines scrawled out. 1860s Imperial Court Red, 2/11, Jacks, Boyer, Den. Jacker. He deals the cards. Bloody venom trumps the dark night city. There are a few things that Tim can immediately pick up, such as 1860, meaning the year 1860, 2, meaning 2 in German, and the Dark Knight City, being a double entendre of the Dark Knight, Batman, and Gotham as a city. He's not sure about the other things, though. He read through the Bat's decoding and riddle-solving work, hoping for some answers. He sees that they have also found the same thing he did, and they also made a connection to the game of poker. It makes some sense, with the card metaphors and the card jack notably being number 11. They come to the conclusion that this is a taunt to Batman, telling him that he's a peasant stuck in a game that will end in a death to perhaps not him, but the entire city. The streets will be filled with their blood and become poison to Batman's consciousness. The Bat's decoding looks about correct, sounds fine, and makes sense to what the Riddler would say. But this one is a little more complicated and aggressive than his usual work. But something about it nags at him. Their solved riddle is correct, but is it right? Tim searches through the words, trying to find anything that could mean something different. Why is German, he ponders, spewing on the end of a pen, and only 2 words, zwei and Boyer. Zwei, sure, it's just 2 in German, a common word. But Boyer is an unusual surname that means peasant or farmer. Bauer is the popularist mainstream version of it. Why use that word specifically? He tries to work the riddle, shifting around words to see if they make any more cohesive sense like a sentence. There must be something Tim is missing. 1860s, Germany, card game, 2 jacks. There's a colon after then, meaning they're expanding upon something. 2 jacks becoming something. Are the jacks called Jacker? Suddenly it hits Tim. His face pales with horror. No, he pleads, frantically searching for any piece of paper to scribble his realization down. Please, don't be what I think it means. He finishes writing and stares at the paper, a nauseating dread filling his chest. His head rings and his heart pounds violently against his ribcage. The bats aren't right. The riddle's message isn't meant to be a simple provocation to Batman, taunting him about how his action will ultimately be futile and lead to streets of blood. It makes sense. It really does, and on the base level, the Riddler is correct by all technicalities. Batman will be haunted by the death of a city that he's sworn to protect. But that's not what the riddle actually means. What it truly is hiding beneath the almost amateur goading. It's not from the Riddler. He may have written it, but it's not from him. The pen rolls out of Tim's hands and drops into the ground without a single care. He reads his notes one more. Card game, 2 red jacks, Imperial Bowery, Germany, 1960, Joker, Oikere, Joker. The Joker's back. Tim whispers aloud of alarm as his stomach sinks. And he's planning something big. that is all for today. Hope you enjoyed. So this is I did a few months after weeks after I recorded, and I found it because I forgot about it. Is that this is one of the last chapters I have with the pop filter, so anything in the future will be better, I promise.